we should do at least a little bit of a post-mortem here as far as the guys going out. The Lakers, from the Lakers side to Cleveland, that's Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. I know obviously you've spent a good amount of time covering them, as we mentioned previously, and so it'll be sad to see them going that way. Seem like, good guys, worked hard to become better players over the course of time, but as I mentioned previously, at least, that these aren't guys that really were keystones for this franchise going forward. That if you're talking about a guy at guard who's going to be your guy, obviously it's Lonzo Ball, not Jordan Clarkson. A guy at power forward who's going to be your guy, it's not Larry Nance Jr., it's probably Kyle Kuzma. So these guys were, Nance Jr. and Clarkson developed into very nice role players for the Lakers over time. They proved to be great value picks.
Absolutely.
And now the Lakers cash them out to get some work done. And the Cavs, between those two guys, Rodney Hood, George Hill, they got younger, they got longer, they got more athletic, and now a little bit more dynamic around LeBron, whereas before they were a little bit stagnant. They were the oldest team in the league, one of the slowest teams in the league, and they were really headed in a tailspin.
It was a mess.
It was a mess. So,
well, I look at what they did on the fly mid-season to be almost miraculous. And this is the question, and this is really fascinating, right? Mm-hmm. The Cavs may have given themselves a great chance to keep LeBron, and the Lakers gave them that chance, right, along with the other teams.
Of course, you could argue the reverse as well.
Exactly. On the other hand, the Cavs opened up the opportunity for the Lakers to steal LeBron. Mm-hmm. That wasn't probably there without that deal. And if they couldn't get off of Clarkson, it's one thing to have, like, you can't, if you meet with LeBron in the summer and it's like, maybe we have cap room to get you in another guy, that's not a really strong selling argument, right? Mm-hmm. But if you go and let's say it fizzles out terribly and you've got Paul George in your pocket and you go to meet with LeBron, you've already got Paul George there and you have the money, all you have to do is get rid of Luol Deng, be it through stretch or some other creative way, right? Like, that's a much, and then they're in a room with Magic Johnson, who in my mind is a true
salesman.
Yeah, he's someone who relates to these guys in a way. These young players look up to Magic, both as obviously one of the greatest of all times. Mm-hmm. I think that means a lot to someone like LeBron, even though I don't think LeBron really saw Magic play.
Yeah, which is amazing that he still holds that sort of
But
sway,
I think
right?
he really knows. And then for Paul George, who grew up in this area, so Magic, even if you didn't. But you look beyond what he's done in the court. Like, LeBron wants to be a mogul, and he already is. Mm-hmm. He wants to be a billionaire. He's on his way. And Magic he's someone who's been great for the community. He's been a great businessman. He's had a lot of success off the court. He's a part owner of the Dodgers, and now the Dodgers are in the World Series, right? Mm-hmm. So success follows Magic around. And in the African-American community, I think he's someone who really represents what you can do, especially as an athlete, to do more than just be. It's incredible to be one of the best athletes of all times, period, right? But then to take that and to also do other things for decades, well beyond your career, and be a big influencer and an important part of the community. I'm not talking about a specific community, just the Los Angeles community, the national community, and Magic has been a huge part of that. And so I think that he's a larger-than-life figure, and I think he'll close a deal with these guys. But that may not even come to pass, because sometimes, like if Sam Presti, maybe there's a loyalty factor, Russell Westbrook. If they can get those guys to stay, then that's a strong possibility. And in the case of Clarkson, you've got a great scorer, a guy who has no fear about getting his points. He can get his own points. If you're playing, we talked about specifically, he attacks at that free throw line. And if you're a team that can't really guard there well, that you've got bigs that are slow and they're playing back a little bit, Clarkson's just going to eat you alive. And then Nance could fit on any team. A guy who's going to set a screen, roll hard to the basket, and if you give him one or two lobs a game and he's happy, right? But he's not someone who needs to score, doesn't want to shoot much, so he doesn't space the floor well like a lot of the modern era power forwards. But he can play center too. So good defender, not as good on the guards on switches as Julius Randle. But if they play the Pistons in the first round, and if they get, like, let's say they climb and they draw Detroit, I don't think it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I would say that Larry Nance may be one of the best defenders in the entire league against Blake Griffin, like one-on-one in the post. So we'll see what happens. I think they're as good or close to as good as the Celtics and the Raptors with the talent that they have. I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. That's the joy of it. Can't wait to see. It's going to be a few months till we get there. But the Cavs are a force, and I still don't think they're good enough to beat the Warriors. But if they do, maybe LeBron is like, all things forgiven. He feels heard, right? He was unhappy. He didn't like the way the team was constructed, and he was also right. Not like he was a star throwing a fit because he was in a good situation and just wasn't happy because he wasn't happy because he was a prima donna. No, he was on a team that was not very good, and it wasn't anyone's fault. People got older. They made decisions. We could point at little decisions along the way. But when you get to your fourth time trying to win a championship, that 4 years in a row to June, and for LeBron even more,
it'll be 8.
Right. It's exhausting. Fine, LeBron, put him aside. But for guys like Kevin Love, who's getting hurt now, right? Like Kyrie, he's out of there. He was fried out. Then there's guys like Shumpert. Their value wears out because like they're only so good. And at a certain point, they're exposed. You know, the playing this late and doing this. So they're gone. They cleaned house and they got rid of all the bad apples from their perspective, not bad people, but bad situationally.